I try
No,
with
it
the
wouldn't
PC.
make a difference, Stefano, no.
Lo stesso link o no? No, by email we sent you the one from
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to all our hotel partners, our destination management companies, and company that works in our hospitality sector. We are so pleased that you choose to attend this session, and we truly feel it is an important one and critical to our success and to the growth of Anguilla's tourism industry. Today, we are going to talk about how to rediscover and nurture your key trade relationships. Day in, day out, our overseas teams is working with Anguilla's travel industry partners. In case you have not met them yet, let me introduce you to our team. Jacqueline Vickers from Tunstall Marketing in the US, Nancy Druplet from Jessen & Company Communications in Canada, Carolyn Brown from CSB Communications in the United Kingdom, Stefano De Pauli from De Pauli Associati in Italy, and last but not least, Natalia Venturani from Inter-American in Latin America.
Well, welcome everyone. The challenge in each of our markets is to ensure that our travel partners keep Anguilla top of mind. We know that travel agents and tour operators and event planners have a multitude of destinations from which to choose and thousands of hotels. What do they need when they are making recommendations to a client? How do we ensure that Anguilla and your property are the destination of choice? If you attended some of the earlier sessions on Monday, Monday's topic covered how to reimagine your content. Basically, how to communicate your message to a market through social media. On Tuesday, the focus turned to public relations, and that was how to ignite your brand messaging and the importance of building a relationship with the journalist. These are very critical components as they help influence a client to book Anguilla. But what happens when a client calls a travel agency and doesn't know where they want to go? This is where our collective relationships are key to ensuring that an agent recommends traveling to Anguilla. Stefano?
just to review the industry groups and talk about how we address each strategically. We just want to talk about what each of these groups needs from us. We work with tour operators travel agencies and event planners. We need to know them and have a rapport with them, but we also need to understand their unique needs and respond to them. Sometimes they can overlap. A tour operator or a wholesaler or a villa operator, for example, are really all within the same category. They package hotels, sometimes with air and sometimes with transfers. Some sell to the public directly and some don't. Retail travel agents or ITCs, independent travel contractors, or specialty agents, for example, those that focus on sports or wellness or romance, and OTAs, online travel agencies like Expedia, sell to the consumer directly. They can book a hotel directly for their clients, or they sell a package through a tour operator. The MICE market is the meeting and incentive, convention and event market. They usually work directly with a company, any company. Let's use Armani as an example. They will book a meeting for executives of Armani, for all the top producing salespeople at Armani. They might sell an incentive program to Armani. The more a salesperson with Armani sells, the more likely they will earn a free trip to Anguilla. Conventions and events are self-explanatory, but usually the events are larger in scope than, say, a wedding. The events might be to launch a new type of car, for example. Nancy.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, Stefano. And as we said earlier, relationships are key. We work very hard to build a strong relationship with tour operators. On one hand, we work with product managers so that they clearly understand Anguilla's option and great features, and to encourage them to include Anguilla in their programs. We also work with the sales team to help promote the destination, and in that way, ensuring our messages go further. It is important that they fall in love with Anguilla and that they understand the array of products offering in order to better sell it. Another important piece of our work is training the reservations department staff so they can answer questions from retail agents and consumers. In addition, we also keep the tour operators updated on relevant news about Anguilla, we participate in events, and we give marketing support. And of course, we encourage fun trips because we understand knowing the island firsthand gives them the ability to truly understand the high quality of Anguilla product. The tour operators have many destinations to choose from. They tend to include the destination partners that they know and trust. This is a key point. Trust is very important to all our markets. Tour operators are our partners, and they are an extension of us. So we encourage ongoing contact between tour operators and Anguilla hotels, villas, DMCs, and other products, because we understand the importance of building these relationships. We nurture our present contacts because when you have a great relationship with your tour operator partner, you learn about their booking patterns, about the trends of the market, you find out what is selling and what it is not, and why, and most importantly, we learn about our competition, so we stay relevant in the market.
Retail travel agents, how do we work with travel agents? They are the front line with the consumer, so it's vitally important that we ensure they are trained to sell our product. Sometimes we visit them, we attend their head office trainings, we host our own training events, we are in constant communication, answering questions in person, through email and on the phone. When they have trust and confidence that we can tell them is true, they will consistently support our efforts. I think I speak for all the sales staff. That our relationships are developed over a long period of time and are crucial to our success. Even when we move companies, those relationships are built to last.
Jackie? I'm not sure if there's a connection issue with Jackie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Great.
Okay. How do we work with the meeting and incentive market? Although it can be the same as a retail agent, usually we attend MICE-specific events, mainly trade shows. The best way to build a relationship with a MICE planner, not unlike the travel agent, is to escort fam trips to promote learning about the destination and the hotels, villas, and activities. They rarely sell a country that they have not first visited, and meeting the people they work with in a hotel is very important. They also need to meet with destination management companies when they visit. These relationships are critical to the success of a meeting or an incentive to ensure repeat business.
So don't take our word for it. We have asked some of our industry partners here today to answer some questions. I will ask them some questions, and then we will open it up to the floor to ask your questions. So first, please allow me to introduce our panelists to you. We have Rebecca Turner. She is the head of product and commercial at Elegant Resorts, a tour operator based in the United Kingdom. We have Robert Sasky, who is the director of product with Ultimate Jet Vacations, a tour operator based in the United States. We have Andrea Marighetti, who is the CEO of Dreams Team, a chain of retail travel agencies in Italy. We have Danielle Andreazzi, who is the marketing and business strategies manager for Prime Tour, a retail travel agency based in Brazil. And last but not least, we have Brooke Soucier, who is the executive director of Hidden Champions from Canada. Brooke works with meeting and incentive conventions and event market. Sincere welcome to all of our panelists. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a number of questions, and maybe we can get started. Robert, I figured since Ultimate Jet Vacations is the biggest operator to Anguilla, maybe I can start with you. So tell me, how long have you been, your company, how long has your company been selling this beautiful country?
Thank you, Nancy, and I appreciate the time to be on the call today. We've been selling Anguilla for about 6 years, and it's been one of our top destinations really since we started selling. So it's been a wonderful relationship as things have kind of built along the years. And we're excited because it's one of our fastest growing destinations in terms of booking pace over the last, I'd say, about 2 months.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Rebecca, can you tell us why relationship building is so important for you and for your business?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think you've touched on it in most in points that you've put all the way through the presentation. But for us, it's very much about the knowledge, the trust, the relationship building. It's building that confidence, but it's allowing the staff to build the confidence internally, whether it's our sales, product, or marketing teams, knowing that we're showcasing the destination in the right way towards the right clients. But then also for externally, we deal with the very, very top end of the market. And so those clients have very high expectations, and they want to know the finer details. So the whole purpose of the relationship is to arm our sales team with that information so they can sell with confidence. They know they're selling in the right way. The customer goes, enjoys the holiday, shares it with their friends, and then we're all winners, basically. But it's the continuity of that as well. So it's not just a short burst. It has to be, the communication has to go right throughout the year, peaks and troughs. And so it's sharing the intel as well between ourselves and Carolyn, sharing what's working, what's not working, if there's something that we're doing, or is there something that she sees that is selling really well with other partners. It might be something that we should be looking into as well. So it's sharing that knowledge, and it's really, really key for us.
Made 3 C's: constant, consistent communication.
Absolutely. Yeah.
3 really great points. Thank you so much. Andrea, many Caribbean countries offer an all-inclusive product. Anguilla does not. Do you consider this a problem or an advantage for Anguilla?
Hello, everybody. Honestly, it depends on which direction this country want to go. For us, it's not worth it to have an all-inclusive product because if we're speaking about high-end clients, they always want to have everything a la carte, and all what is very high-end is not in an all-inclusive product. So, for our point of view, it will be not worth it to have something similar to other countries, let's say, that are perceived as mass market, as charter destination, and something like this. If Anguilla want to have a very high-end client, I think it's not worth it to have something in an inclusive product.
Okay,
But this is our point.
Interesting perspective. Does any other country want to weigh in here? Does Brazil or the UK or the US have a different perspective?
I think maybe for other market could fit, like maybe for Russian it could fit absolutely, but for the Italians and European in general, I think it will be not. All inclusive product is perceived as mass market product.
Gotcha.
I completely agree from a UK perspective, and just one of the selling points is obviously the restaurants of Anguilla and the options there, and our clients don't want to be refined. They don't want to be confined to their resort. They want that choice and that flexibility to embrace the place that they're going to as well.
Another C word, Rebecca.
Oh, I know, sorry.
It's a theme. Danielle, I have a question for you. How can we help you sell more Anguilla?
We truly believe, thank you for having me here. Brazil has been sending a lot of clients to Anguilla lately. We increased 120% on that number. And we truly believe, as Natalie and Rebecca mentioned, knowledge is the best asset. As much as our team has been trained by the destination, the experience they could have, it's better way for them to sell to our clients. So either our retail, our mice, and all of that. So knowledge, and we have been receiving the support of Anguilla Tourism Office here in Brazil, training our team, even though in the pandemic. So doing training, we're publishing the social media. And also if you have people speaking other languages in the destination, the hotels, that will help a lot for our clients. I think it's a great beginning of increasing more to the Brazilian market selling Anguilla.
Yeah, I mean, that brings a really good point. And I think we've heard training echoed a few times so far, that we know that's key because that increases confidence in selling the destination. You're bringing up another issue in terms of language. And we know Anguilla is attracting different clients from around the world, and you all speak different languages. Here at home in Canada, we have French. I know that Stefano has Italian. You're dealing with Spanish and Portuguese. Is there training that you think is required in terms of having hotel staff or any hospitality workers on the ground?
Yeah, I think a lot of training has been done, but we have receiving a lot of new team. So with we say getting better now, the tourism, we are hiring more people. So training every other day. So with the support with the office, that's like the main key. And also increasing the communication through social media. We have been seeing a lot of results. Mm-hmm. So basically, as Rebecca mentioned and Natalie again, knowledge, training, social media, newsletter, communication, all of that way will be very great to increase even more.
Is key. Brooke, I'm not leaving you out. I have a question for you too. The meeting and incentive market is very different, and your relationship with the country is a little different than that of a travel agency and a tour operator. You're muted right now, but I want you to explain how your relationship with the country is different.
So typically for a tour operator, their focus seems to be more selling to leisure travel, so couples, families, and destination weddings. And their stay, from what I see, is more, 7 days at a destination. As for corporate clients, their time frame is more 4 to 5 days out of the office. And of course, 2 are travel days. So punctuality matters. Flight schedules, communication similar to what the other guests have indicated. The customs experience, all of that has to flow flawlessly, I find, for corporate clients. Obviously you want your leisure guests to have a similar experience, but it's really important for the corporate client.
And more for a meeting versus an incentive, right? Because a meeting, as you said, could be a shorter term stay. An incentive could actually be longer. They may travel as a group or they may travel individually. Is that right?
So the group that I had in Anguilla, pre-COVID, they had a couple of meetings in the morning, very short, 2 hours, and the rest of the time was all about experiencing Anguilla. And we had 5 days, so it was really important. Again, the flights, customs needs to. I believe when we were there, we had to do customs twice. And so that sort of slows down your time. And I don't know if that can be, if there's any changes to that. I'm not sure how that's working these days.
And we had spoken when we were in Anguilla. We were in Anguilla in February, just before the pandemic, shut down multiple countries. How we talked about this. How is your relationship with the DMC, a destination management company, an integral part of selling Anguilla?
It's very important. Working with the DMC needs to be a partnership. They're an extension of us, and this is how the client needs to see our relationship. The local DMC can make the planner's vision and client experience come to life. And the DMC has the latest updates on the hotels, the restaurants, things to do through their connections. And planners want to show the client how their experience in Anguilla can be so different than hosting the event in another part of the Caribbean.
That's good points. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I have another question for Rebecca and Robert. Can you tell us some of the challenges you have in selling Anguilla? And if you have any advice that you'd like to share on how to overcome those challenges. Robert, I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to come back to you, Rebecca.
Perfect. I think some of the challenges really stem from how to get to Anguilla. Because there's various gateways, whether you're flying in through St. Martin or Puerto Rico, or now direct flights, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. In kind of the post-COVID or the COVID era, advisors, wholesalers, clients, you're trying to navigate entry protocols. And when you have to navigate entry protocols through various countries, understanding what does it mean to go through St. Martin? What does it mean if I'm staying there versus if I'm transiting through? The same for Puerto Rico. While these entry protocols are constantly changing, that's probably been the single biggest headwind for Anguilla. One of the things that we've seen in terms of the models to simplify things is we like to say the Turks model in the Caribbean, in terms of they opened in June of last year. Their protocols were the same. They recently added vaccination requirements, which was, I believe, a month or two ago. But consistency and simplicity in terms of communicating in a kind of a short and easily digestible way. These are the protocols. And also kind of looping in, if you're flying through St. Martin or if you're flying through Puerto Rico, how do we keep this easy in terms of messaging? How do we keep it consistent? And how do we communicate and message it for our consumers in a way that's really easy to understand, short and simple. I think those are the major barriers. And as we move forward, that's going to be one of the key things that we see in place to ensure that we have a lot of mutual growth between our production to Anguilla.
It's a really good point, Robert. I mean, I think sometimes we have tunnel vision and we look at one country's protocol and we don't remember that agents and tour operators are dealing with hundreds of countries and constantly changing protocols. So if there's consistency, it makes it a little easier on the agent and on the tour operator. Rebecca, do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I spoke to the sales team about this just prior to this webinar, and that was their first and foremost thing. When the world started opening up from the UK and the UK were allowed in, what we found was the biggest drivers. It was the airport experience and it was the single flight option. Those were the destinations that came back first, because it's that security and it's that safety element. We're still not out of the woods. And so people trying to limit it. But then, as Robert said, it's the protocols. Nobody wants to get it wrong. And if it's changing all the time, it's just really hard for the guys on the front line. We've got to give all this information to make sure that it's 100% correct. So we've created our own dedicated COVID team, because we're dealing with the world, to try and mitigate that internally. But it is one of the main challenges. It also could be seen as a positive in terms of the access. Access, I say, was the biggest in the fact that it's a two-stop from the UK. But also what we have been finding, people that normally would go to Barbados or Antigua, because of that security and safety element, they're actually, they're going to be more crowded. So it's a different clientele as well. They're going, I actually want to go somewhere a little bit remote. So you are winning a little bit on that side, but it is definitely one of the biggest factors. What we're finding as well, and again, the hotels that we work with, what we're finding now is a lot of them have moved to dynamic rates. So we've got hardly any static contracts in place. So it's always a case of calling the hotel. Now that is because we're a bit behind from our side internally. We are going down that connectivity piece, but we're not 100% there yet. It should be there in a couple of months. But again, it's adding an extra element to the salesperson. They sell the holiday, then they have to call for the rates and then put it through, rather than it just being live on their system. So that's something that we're working at. I get it from the likes of Four Seasons, Belmont, that's what they want to do. But that's just as an extra challenge that we're facing at the minute.
Okay, well, that's really good to know. Andrea and Danielle, I have a question for both of you. How has your relationship with your ATB representative helped you sell more Anguilla? Danielle, why don't I start with you? And then I'll move over to Andrea. I know it's not alphabetical, but ladies first.
That's no problem. As I mentioned before, doing the training and having all the team involved with that. Also, as I mentioned before, but I want to make it really important, having the team speaking either Spanish, Portuguese, Italian would make it easier. We know our clients mainly, they speak English, but I mean, having the other languages, we know the hotels as Four Seasons, Belmont, they have been investing on that to make it more comfortable and easier for the clients. And I think all this effort, promotions, everything they could do will make the clients go first time, get in love with Anguilla, and then return in another vacation, because that's becoming so popular. You guys, Anguilla Tourism have been investing a lot in Brazilian market, and we are very excited about that. So that's just a way up to send more clients, even on like throughout the year.
You know what, Danielle, you just bring a really, really good point. And I know all of us in the tourism field, we all want repeat clients. And we know it's cheaper to market to a repeat client. In the long run, it costs more to keep getting new clients than it is to get a repeater. So really, really good point there. Andrea, I'm going to ask you the same question. How has your relationship with your ATB, your Anguilla Tourist Board representative, helped you to sell more Anguilla?
It has helped absolutely a lot, because to have the training and the staff with a good formation, it makes really the difference when we speak with the client, when we have to suggest the destination. So it really helps a lot. And then, although with the client together, we use a lot the website where there is the map and all the kind of information that may help for like a recall and to remember everything, and to let them see and to let them show also the video, because we don't sell something concrete. So we sell a dream, and seeing some great images and some great video, it's a really huge help. But the base is the training and the formation of all our staff.
Yeah,
so it really helps a lot.
That's a great point. The visuals help us sell the product. Don't they?
Overall in this period.
Yeah, exactly. That's great points. Thank you. Robert, I'm coming back to you. So how, you touched on this just a few minutes ago, but how does Anguilla compare with other Caribbean destinations that your company offers? In this case, I'm not thinking about COVID protocols, but how does the product compare with other Caribbean destinations?
For us, I think there's really 3 destinations that we kind of group together in terms of what we consider the upper tier of the Caribbean. And that's really going to be Turks and Caicos, St. Bart's, and Anguilla. I think how we see Anguilla as a company is you really get the beach feel of Turks and Caicos, but you get the boutique atmosphere of St. Bart's. And between all 3 destinations, you have the flexibility to dine different properties off-site. I think that's what really makes Anguilla beautiful, is that it's not going to be a single beach like Turks where hotels are built alongside each other. It's going to be more in that St. Bart's feel, but you get the beaches of Turks and Caicos and such a diverse cuisine. In terms of ADR, it's a toss-up. It's between Anguilla, Turks, and St. Bart's on any given month. But the important thing to note is that when we look at our product in St. Bart's, or we look at our product in Turks and Caicos, we sell a lot of multi-bedroom accommodations. We do as well in Anguilla, but not to the same degree. So when you look at, we're selling a lot of room product, that ADR is distinctly different than Turks or St. Bart's. So we see it as one of the premier destinations in the Caribbean, without a doubt.
Thank you. You know, this brings up another question, and Rebecca, I'm coming to you anyway, but maybe I can kind of add on to what Robert just mentioned. We're noticing that a lot of Caribbean countries have increased their prices. Do you see this as a positive for Anguilla? Does it change Anguilla in the mix that even Robert was just speaking of? Is Anguilla still perceived as an expensive destination in comparison to other islands right now in the Caribbean?
It is, yes, but that I think is changing as people are starting to price up year on year. Pre-COVID to now, there is a big jump in most islands. So as long as Anguilla doesn't follow suit and does that same big jump, because we've also got that internal flight costs to think about. But yeah, I think it is starting to open up. And same as Robert said, we've started to see some bigger groups and families actually looking at Anguilla to go as their option for there. So I definitely think it is an opportunity. I think it's going to be something as they go through and get the inquiries and the requests through, it will actually open their minds when they're doing comparisons against islands. I think what I've heard is they're actually surprised it's not as much as it used to be. So as long as they don't follow suit and jump up to the same, I think it will definitely open up more opportunities.
So still niche, but on the cusp of offering, opening up the destination perhaps to a price break that wouldn't have considered Anguilla before. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I mean, there's still, like I said, it's just opening up more options. So if the price point is still high, However, if someone has and they're taking a family, they might have a set budget, whether even that the budget's quite high. Our sales team, they've been selling the Caribbean for 20 years, a lot of them. So it's changing that preconception. And as they're looking on the systems and they're looking on the website and they're looking what we're marketing, actually, they're more surprised. They're going, oh, actually, that's the same as, Turks and Caicos, or that's the same as some bots or whatever. So it's opening their eyes. So they're opening it up to the clients as well. It's like, this is a great opportunity. Yeah.
Great, really good comments. Brooke, I'm coming back to you. I have another question. Do you find, there's been a lot of discussion here about not having the direct flights. I'm not sure if you know that there's one from the US now. So although it's not direct from Canada, we still have to go through the US or from St. Martin. Do you find it's difficult to offer Anguilla as an incentive or as a meeting destination to your clients? And could you suggest a way that might make things easier for planners to sell Anguilla?
So I'd first like to say that I personally find Anguilla is a hidden gem. I think that for such a small island, it has a lot to offer, from great restaurants, and unique hotel options, and optional activities. But I do find that the websites and videos are geared towards leisure, families. If the client just was to Google Anguilla, it comes up great family destination or weddings, but it's not really geared and promoting it's like the incentive for the MICE groups, whether it's meeting side or the incentives. And so I think that needs to have that, maybe a video just for that. I'm not sure. And also I find that sometimes it hasn't happened in Anguilla, but it has happened in other destinations where they say that they want to host groups, but then there's a pushback when we actually go to try to sell it to a client. And so I think that perception needs to change too.
And Brooke, we haven't spoken about this, but I have something in my mind here. Why do you think Anguilla should be attracting the incentive market?
I just think it has a lot to offer, and I think that some of the corporate clients seem to keep going back to the same destinations over and over again. Mm-hmm. And there's so much to offer in Anguilla. I just fell in love with it the first time I ever went down. And it wasn't on a FAM, it was an actual site inspection. And it was a hit with the group. And they, like I think it was Danielle said, they wanted to come back as leisure now with their family and went back home and were so excited. So I just think there's some missed opportunities that need to be explored for the corporate side to promote it a bit more.
And Brooke, incentives generally book out further than leisure travel, right? You're booking like a year, usually outside of the pandemic, you're usually booking at least a year in advance. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
And you're usually also booking at a higher room rate. Is that usually the case?
That is correct, yes. When we had our group there, we were booking a year out, and we basically took over the hotel. It was the Viceroy at the time before it turned over to the Four Seasons. And we only had, there was only 5 guest rooms that were at leisure. We booked, took it over otherwise exclusively.
Yeah. So far in advance, higher room rate, another reason why we want to attract the meeting and incentive business. So I know we want to open it up to the field, to our stakeholders, to see if they have any questions. Chantal, I'm not sure if you have questions yet, If you do have questions, can I ask you please to either put them in the chat or the Q&A to Chantal, and she'll let us know what they are. Before we open it up to all the stakeholders, maybe I could go around to our wonderful panel and ask you to give a piece of advice to our partners in Anguilla. What piece of advice would you like to share with our panelists, with our stakeholders, I beg your pardon. Rebecca, I'm going to start with you, okay? Is it going to be a C word?
It is going to be, because it's back to the communication, and it's just keeping up the good work that you're doing already, and just keeping us informed, everything that's happening, everything that's changing, and just what's going on the island. So then our guys are getting the first hand and the latest knowledge that we can share with our client base. So absolutely, it is another C.
Okay, I really was just taking a stab in the dark there, so thank you. Thanks so much. Robert, do you have a piece of advice for Anguilla?
I would have to agree with Rebecca. Communication is key. I think another part of it is for the stakeholders, leverage a distribution for your need periods. That's what we're here for. Stay in communication and really engage the conversation, because I know everybody on this panel is excited and passionate to sell Anguilla, and it's really the engagement. What can we do to help drive during the need periods? How can we communicate more clearly on their behalf, on Anguilla's behalf, and how can we just clarify as much as we can and streamline what we can to make things easy? Because at the end of the day, there was a comment about rate. In this market, if we see prices for everything, from handbags to restaurants to hotels, it's not a rate driven market. It's about ease, it's about confidence, it's about trust. So those are all the things that distribution partners can do to help support destinations and the stakeholders on this call.
Great, great advice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Robert. Andrea, I've got to come back to you and ask you from your perspective in Italy, what piece of advice would you have for our partners in Anguilla?
Mainly overall, after all this crazy period, probably we could try to work on something about hosting some influencer to push a little bit the destination on social media, because what we see in Italy is that the market follow the trend. So as more as the people see that people comes in Anguilla, the more that they will come. The word of mouth overall in a very high-end client market works really, really very well. So as soon as the first comes there, the other will follow. So in this special period, it would help a lot probably to work with some very, very nice influencer to be there, to let them people see that they are there. And then I'm sure 100% that the other will follow. So this, I think, will give the biggest boost that is possible at the moment, probably.
Oh, that's really interesting, Andrea. You know, I spoke particularly to agents in a number of different markets. And one of the things that they said, not unlike what you're saying, is that they too, as travel agents, felt that they had to travel to show their clients,
absolutely,
you know, that they were moving, that they were ready to move, that it was a safe destination to go to, and to make sure that that was what was communicated to their clients, so that they had that confidence. I'm bringing another C word, that confidence in selling and traveling to the destination.
This is 100% true. It has always worked with us. I mean, to show that to the client that we are there, and they have always trust us more. So it's a very, very good weapon for the market. But in this special period, I think that to take some influencer, and I'm speaking about the one who have more than million of followers, yeah, it will be worth in this special period.
Yeah. Well, that's a great great suggestion. Danielle, I'm going to ask you that same question, and I know you have to run off, but I did want to ask you, please, what advice would you share with the stakeholders in Anguilla?
As I mentioned, as Rebecca and Robert mentioned, communication is the key point. So whenever you have like new videos showing all the experiences, gastronomy, promotions you have, our clients will be very surprised and passionate about the destination more than ever. As Andrea mentioned, also, I agree with the social media. We have been receiving a lot of requests through social media, Instagram, and also YouTube. So whenever you invest in a personality or influencer that will show in different angles Anguilla, that will increase the awareness, and everybody want to be there. That's going to be like, I want to be there before than anybody else. So social media is very strong as part of the communication strategies, and continuing is doing the training, investing on loyalty with the clients, also with the trade, and all this work that the tourism and the hotels are doing, that has been amazing to increase sales. We saw like the last couple months how amazing it was. As I mentioned, like 120, almost 150% for Brazilians to go to Anguilla. We were very happy and very surprised to rediscover this beautiful destination.
That's wonderful. Well, all you need is a picture of our snow right now, Danielle, because we're in winter. And let me tell you, and a picture of a beautiful warm beach. Oh, yeah.
That's what I have here. That's my wish list.
I know. Us too. We're looking at it the same. Brooke, I'm going to ask you the same question. A piece of advice for our stakeholders, for our partners in Anguilla, what would it be from your perspective?
I think that we need to be creative and curious and think differently from your competitors and know your customers.
You know, lots of C words here. I love it. I mean, we're hearing creative, curious, constant, consistent. Okay, now we did also have training, and we did have simplicity in messaging, which is communication. So a lot of wonderful C words, and that was not planned, let me tell you. So great advice, Brooke. Thank you so much. Chantal, are there any questions? I can't see the Q&A, so you'll have to tell me if there are any questions. Otherwise, I have more.
Hi, Nancy. No, the delivery was well presented, and I know that we've covered a lot of questions and some very great talking points. At this moment, we don't have any questions from our chat log, so I think we're doing a great job.
Excellent. Well, then what I'm going to do is just go around the table and see if there's any final comment that any of our esteemed panelists would like to share. And can I just say, on behalf of the Anguilla Tourist Board, and I'm sure all the stakeholders in Anguilla, thank you all so very much for participating. Rebecca, we're going to start with you with any final comments you'd like.
showcasing, once we're offering and selling a destination, when our team has that level of support, when they can reach out to Catherine Ryan or Brett and his team at Aurora, or even to ATB for questions on entry protocols. Those are all things that actually do help drive mutual production. It's a destination we feel confident in, and it's a destination that, you know, we see growing faster than any other destination in the Caribbean for the last 2 months. So definitely thank you to everybody on this call and all the stakeholders that are helping us grow production to this beautiful destination.
Perfect. What a wonderful wrap up. Thank you so much, Robert. Really appreciate all of our panelists today, all the sales team in our overseas market. Chantal, we're handing it back to you. Thanks for asking us to participate, and remember, relationships are key.
Great. And we just want to thank everyone again. Thank you, Nancy, for moderating today's session. And we definitely extend a special thank you to our panelists and, of course, our international reps overseas. Thanks to everyone who also joined in via Zoom and also our Facebook platform. Thank you once again. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's a vibe that makes you say, yeah, maybe I could find what's been missing. Whatever that is, because we are all searching. Sometimes it's giving attention to an important bond. Other days it's just taking in the sun, because that makes you feel so alive. You know, so alive. And seeing parts of history, and then yourself in that history. Boy, that's an experience like you've never had before. Whether you're with a friend or maybe you're going it alone, however you choose to take on the sights